You know what social media censorship is like? It's like bags under the eyes because you're tired. It's proper like dark circles. I'll tell you why. It's like dark circles because it tarnishes your total glory. It makes you look old. It makes you look exhausted. It makes you look like life has slapped you upside the head until you put some turmeric and honey on there. Next thing you'll be rocking up tomorrow with some vitamin C serum underneath your eyes, popping and looking like a bag of sunshine. It's a temporary glitch that makes you uneasy, but nonetheless that you overcome. And the disquieting thing about this temporary glitch is during its temporary general thing that it's doing, it has power to make you feel like a dog and like yet another animal, whatever it might be, perhaps a zebra. But you always come back with a bigger bang, always come back with a bigger pow, always come back with a bigger irritation, always come back with a bigger resolve. Where under heaven have you ever seen a human race being silenced and then totally just like keeping quiet? Where? Please. Somebody tell me, what in the world under heaven is going on over here with YouTube and Facebook and Instagram, etc.? What's going on? Naivety. That's my hypothesis. I don't know about you guys. What's your hypothesis? Hit me with it. I want to know. Why, oh why, human race, you there hanging out in total repetitive boulevard, constantly redoing all the things you've been doing throughout history and expecting a different result? It's written in the canals of this world somewhere that the very definition of folly is to repeat the exact same thing expecting a different outcome. I just feel like riot much. I just feel like rebellion much. I just feel like coming back at you much is exactly what's gonna happen with censorship. Like proper. You're gonna be resisted. The disquieting thing about those who censor us all is that they're literally just a handful of randos out here in these streets. Yet they're busy coming up against an entire, I don't know, global citizenship. I just feel like billions are against this thing, whereas it's only like hundreds of thousands that are trying to push it. Like, you are the thing that needs vitamin C serum, YouTube. You are the thing that needs turmeric. Soon you'll be out the way. Bags, schmags, dogs. Bags, schmags, dark circles, schmuck circles. Any minute now, gonna be popping, looking like a ray of sunshine, walking on it while I'm at it because I'm Icarus. Like, understand. YouTube. I'm done here. Literally, I'm sitting around twiddling my general thumbs and stuff, trying to pass the time that you have made me sit down for a whole week. If I dare make another mistake because you think I've made one, it's gonna be 2 weeks. Who in the world uploads every fortnight when things are happening nightly, proper, on Earth? Destruction is about to slap the general planet, and YouTube is sitting out here in these streets expecting those with eyes to see and ears to hear to do nothing but sit back like little duckies, rubber ones at that, floating atop some dirty water cause a fat man is hanging out in it cause his name is I'm about that censoring business. Like, stop you with the rubber ducky. We're not doing this. You're giving me bags, don't you see? You're giving me dog circles. You're making me restless and uneasy, and I don't appreciate it. I'm about to go and grab that turmeric and vitamin C serum and show you just what time it is yesterday. Like, what are you doing, YouTube? Where under heaven have you ever seen a planet of silenced human beings? We couldn't even keep silent when it would totally be at our detriment to do so, because our bodies are just not made to be quiet. What are you doing? What are you doing exactly? No, please, I need to know. Come on. Human beings are in the business of rioting. It's just what we do. We complain. We rebel. We push back. And when there's like 2 or 3 of you hanging out in I Insist Boulevard, well, there's like a whole bunch of billions of us that are like, I'm sorry, your insistence is not gonna fly. Humanity, listen up, okay? Those of you that run baking channels, those of you that do nothing but make puff pastry every so often, those of you into like fingernail painting and stuff, I just feel like it's your earth too. It's about time you totally boycotted this rubbish. I mean, you there, who does nothing but apply makeup on your channel. I bet you have other interests in this world other than applying makeup. You can't be that vain. Seriously, maybe you call yourself a Christian. They're busy silencing the gospel. How you gonna live on an earth like that? They're busy silencing any other voice that's not with a random narrative. How you gonna hang out in a joint like that? It's not safe. No, you know what, seriously speaking, we need to have a conversation. A better one than the one that we've been having so far. How naive are you exactly to anticipate you can sit back at the bleachers like a spectator and have this general buffoonery prance around in front of you without you ultimately suffering collateral damage? No, the earth ought to be a balanced environment, and yet it isn't. Even the normal distribution makes it clear that Klaus Schwab can't win. Mark Zuckerberg absolutely not going to get the glorified trophy at the end of the day. It's kind of clear that the global elites are not going to get very far here. Because the normal distribution says that they can't. You know why? Because people just kind of tend towards that which is kind of ordinary. We all just kind of hover around in the center of balance just generally. So when we're hanging out in Extreme Boulevard, there's just a lot of disquiet going on. These random global elites are, quite frankly, the outliers. They're hanging out in the far extreme left or right of the normal distribution. Nothing about what they're doing is regular. So, I mean, to coerce a whole bunch of majority human beings to do what they want, I just feel like, I don't know. What do you do with an ant? Like crawling on your sandwich. A splat. That's what's good. I'm not doing this. Why am I sitting around for an entire week exactly unable to upload on YouTube? I need to know. I need to find out why I'm even shadow banned on Facebook despite not having ever met Mr. Zuckerberg. No, we're not doing this, you guys. You can't sit over there hanging out in your like cute little puff pastry channel, and because nobody has an issue with puff pastry, then imagine that you can totally ignore Carabo. No, you can't, because I probably am right 100% of the time that you're not only interested in puff pastry, like it's that basic. You there who does makeup, you there whose channel is just to, I don't know, show people weird gory ghost stories or hauntings in mansions, you probably like other things. And among the things that you like, I bet any of you can identify something that YouTube is censoring. You there who's into anime, you there who just likes watching random non-human AI things do a thing. I just feel as if though you must have other interests. Who here on the earth is a hermit? Nobody, please. I just come from watching a channel right now called Journey with the Hintons, okay? This lady, like, totally does content about how to make money online and whatever. That's what she generally does. Her whole entire YouTube channel is dedicated to helping people make a buck or two. But guess what she spoke about just recently? What AI has to say about the end of the world, the book of Revelation, and all that jazz. I realized, oh my, she's Christian? So I follow Hinton Lady, right, on the internet machine. I subscribe to her channel because there was a time when I was so totally obsessed with the prospect of making my own money because I was tired of being exploited by horrific men trying to come into the life of a godly woman as a total Satanist. Because I was exhausted with all of these random happenstances, except they were not happenstance, it was the providence of God. I was like, you know what? We're not doing this. So I went and I researched a whole bunch how to make money online since YouTube refuses to let me monetize my channel. So I found Sister Hinton, and I was like, okay, Hinton, tell me what to do, please. Like, really, I need to make my own money. Right now, life is rough. Like, horny men are ridiculous. I need them off my back. Anyway, whatever. So Hinton spoke, and I eventually was like, I like her, and I subscribed. Very well. So because I'm subscribed to Hinty, then she like gave me hints like every so often through the YouTube algorithm that just like recommends her content. And I was like, okay, Hinty, what do you have to say today? And then this Hinton lady all of a sudden started talking about artificial intelligence and AI and I guess that's the same thing, right? Yeah, whatever. AI and artificial intelligence, she was talking about it, and Christianity. I was like, oh, I didn't know Hinty was a Christian. Anyway, keep talking, girla. And here it is that Hinty was talking, right? And she was speaking about how AI was giving her a sermon. I then realized that Hinty also watches Nick Jones. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm a subscriber of Nick Jones over there. Nick does nothing but Christian content, okay? And Hinty went on right ahead to give us like a little bit of a flash vision of a video that Nick Jones did. I was like, wow, aren't we interconnected? Here is this woman that does a channel whose entire channel is dedicated to making money. Doesn't talk about anything else, nothing extra religious over there, but frankly I think she's watered down, kind of lukewarm, because in the beginning of her introduction she says Assalamu alaikum and gives all these like random greetings, some of which are kind of religious unto other religions, and I'm like, no girl, please, you don't get to do that as a Christian. Assalamu alaikum or whatever, that's like I believe a Muslim thing, and we don't do it in Christianity. So how about you like sober yourself and become a virgin with oil in her lamp? That despite I discovered that Hinty was a Christian, or at least a professing one. But she also follows another professing Christian who I believe has an actual walk with the Jesus, right? And I was like, alright, I see connections over here. I see interconnectivity. I see global citizenship. I see Hinty, and I see Nick Jones, and I see Karaba in one little circle. So here it is that I'm observing that Hinty, right, is in this like, you know, Christian club all of a sudden. Or maybe she's been in it all along, just a little bit compromised. Whatever, Hinty, bottom line is, she's one of those people that if the Lord were to rock up and rapture the church, she'd kind of want to be in the rapture. So if Hinty gets convicted that, you know what, I need to get my life together, I need to stop talking so much about money, and I also need to put a little bit more oil in my lamp, because right now these multiple greetings, one of which is like embracing Islam, I need to stop doing that. So if Hinty then makes a decision that, you know, I'm going to be a little bit more radical for Jesus than yesterday, not a Hinty then will start talking to her hundreds and thousands of subscribers that love nothing but money, okay, and then starts talking to them about Jesus. And that's exactly what she did just the other day. I was like, oh my goodness, Hinty, I'm getting a recommendation here telling me I must watch your videos. I stopped watching them because I stopped trying to make money, because I realized that everything in my life is just chock-a-blocked. Nothing's working. So all I do is just upload content now that doesn't get viewed ones and zeros. It looks like I'll never monetize, whatever, my life sucks. So I'm not really watching Hinty anymore. But despite not watching Journey with the Hintons anymore, bottom line is this, okay? Here it is that I'm getting a recommendation from a channel I subscribed to about 3 months ago. That's Jesus-y. I was like, oh my goodness, look, Hinty is speaking about Jesus. Let me hear what the girl gotta say. So I go in and I realize that Hinty's connected to Nick Jones. I was like, wow, Hinty, looks like the Lord is pulling at your heart. Congratulations. Anyway, whatever, good to see that you're talking to your hundreds and thousands of subscribers that usually click on your content just to find out how to make $600 in 1 week. Yeah. So like, I was like, okay, so Hinty, you've got a nice little platform. Do that, like, congratulatory evangelistic work, girl. Do it. Like, start being more Jesus-y, Hinty. And so Hinty's like all Jesus-y. And then I realized that, oh my goodness, we're interconnected. Like, I know I'm repeating myself. It turns out when you're trying to teach a lesson, you become interconnectedly repetitive. Anyway, whatever, right? So I'm like, okay, Hinty, fine. Yo, you're doing like Christian content. Here it is that you're speaking about artificial intelligence and what it believes about the end of the world. Well, guess what? YouTube is busy blocking and censoring people that sneeze just a little bit of anything conservative these days. So if you're Christian, you never really know why they bring you low, why they demonetize you all of a sudden, why they deplatform you. So, I mean, really, Hinty, what then if you don't boycott YouTube is going to be your future as like hundreds of thousands of a channel that's telling people how to... Anywho, so Hinty's like doing this channel that's telling people how to make money, right? Yet today or day before, I don't know, like 3 weeks or whatever, like the woman uploaded content about artificial intelligence doing a sermon on the end of the world or whatever, okay? And I was like, okay, Hinty, how would you like it if YouTube gave you a warning because you're taboo? You wouldn't like it, would you? You just like slightly carried away from your general message, Hinty. Yeah, just to speak about this weird thing. And you shared it with your audience that is largely just kind of, not really trying to get a religious message out of you. How would you like it if just the one day when you decide to talk about Jesus in your channel, because that's among the things you're interested in this world, yeah, then you just get a warning. Just get a warning out of nowhere, flying like a bat out of hell. Just a warning. And then you're like, oh, but what did I do? All I ever did was artificial intelligence conversation about like this Christian religion. Next thing, my money channel that YouTube gives me a whole bunch of money for, because everybody wants to love to talk about money. Next thing, it's got a warning. After a warning is a strike. After a strike is another strike. After another strike, goodbye channel. And after you get a warning, you don't get a warning again, even after the 90-day period has lapsed. So basically, the world is telling Hinty that Hinty, do not ever hint about Jesus again, or you're just gonna have a channel disappear that frankly was not even dedicated to talking about Jesus. I'm making a point. I hope you're getting to the point of the point I'm making by just being really super speculative. Listen, Hinty or Journey with the Hintons, they don't talk about nothing else. They don't talk about anything else. If you're going to be pedantic about grammar, they don't talk about anything else but money, except this one time. Everybody who has got a niche on YouTube has other interests other than just their niche. Fine. So for the better part of the time, all you do is talk about polar bears. But what if you also are a Christian? Fine. So for the better part of the time, all you do is talk about aloe vera juice. But for other days, you are actually interested in the gospel. Fine. So for the better part of the time, all you do is knit garments. But you also kind of disagree with the LG, let me not even continue with that acronym, community. And the one time you come in and just kind of raise that in your channel, you've got a warning. Are we serious just yet? For real, really? This ought to be an incentive for the planet to just refuse to do whatever YouTube is trying to do. The human race is completely complex. I mean, we just had to bring in a little bit of alliteration over there. It's completely complex. We are not these individual silos just walking around in just mindedness that is single. We don't do that. We are complex beings that have a myriad of interests. And even when we don't know Jesus, we sometimes just don't agree with a lot of the things going on the earth. For instance, there is this guy who's like a total homosexual that just can't stand the colorful agenda. He does not like the indoctrination of children. He's not happy. That's a person whose channel should just be thriving because everybody loves to embrace him on an earth that's falling into sexual immorality every single day by their numbers. But he can't stand to be banded with the GQRSPUWXYZ community. Yeah. So whether or not the left in America or everywhere else across the planet want to believe that everybody on the left is just together with this agenda is irrelevant. Bottom line is, nobody wants to be told, shut up, you. Absolutely nobody. And also another bottom line is, human beings are so complex that even though they might generally agree with one thing, sometimes they disagree in like a component of that one thing. And if at all you're gonna shut people up just generally based on whatever the YouTube algorithm stinky minky gotta say, bottom line is you're gonna annoy even some people on the left. It's that basic. So I don't really know what's happening here with the lack of a freedom of expression. I don't get it. I don't get it. The moment you silence one group, please, like, how about you just silence them all? Where have you ever seen a human race content to just shut up? We've got vocal cords, okay? We have ears, alright? We've got abilities to think for ourselves. That's what's good. You therefore don't get to just rock up here in these streets and take away our vocal cords, our ears, even what our eyes can see, and refuse that we should make our own decisions about information. I don't care that you own the whole platform that is talking to people. Bottom line is fine. We're going to create other means to talk. Boycotting is a thing, okay? Companies in the past have been very pompous to think they'll never be moved out the way. Next thing, they were liquidated. So please don't come tell me rubbish any minute now. If anything, social media is so volatile. People are always moving to the next thing. YouTube, like, I just feel like relax, okay? Relax, breathe. Breathe. Speaking with that voice is exhausting, just as much as this alarm rapping on in the background is exhausting. So I am going to revert back to the way that I generally talk when I'm not busy trying to be all theatrical and a thespian. World citizens, listen up. Listen to this woman whose binary code on YouTube is making sure nobody hears her. I cannot be the only person disquieted by the prospect of being incredibly, intensely, and violently, perpetually with no end in sight to this insanity, silenced. There is no way under heaven I'm the only one. I understand that sometimes people might feel disincentivized to actually stand for this cause because, like I said, all they do is make up on YouTube. But even if all you do is make up on YouTube, bottom line is you highly unlikely are only ever perusing content that does make up on YouTube. I don't know anybody that is that singularly minded. I literally do not know. Personally, I'm a Christian content creator. My main niche is the gospel. It is Jesus Christ. Do you understand what I'm saying? Despite that, I nonetheless every so often check this alarm in the back. It's really just getting the best of me, but I'll try to speak through it. Despite all of that, guys, I check out hair content. I check out cooking content. I check out skin content. I know so much about skin to a point where I in and of myself can be somewhat of a subject matter expertise on the matter, precisely because of how many videos a day I watch of skincare. I also check out lots of fitness content to see what I can do to incorporate into my ever-dwindling exercise regimen. That's what I do. I am a whole thriving complex organism, all right, that is interested in more than just one singular thing. I live on a planet full of such human beings as these. So whether or not you disagree with my Christian rhetoric or narrative is irrelevant at this point. Who under heaven wants to be told to keep quiet? Who wants to be come up against by a hellfire missile, frankly, because that's what it is. It's taking people to the flames of hell. Of warnings and strikes upon strikes alongside shadow banning and random deplatforming and demonetization because they dared speak something just one time in their makeup channel that makes them uneasy. For instance, the Lord, it is written in his word that he has poured out his spirit on all flesh in these last days, and people are going to dream dreams and prophesy. So, because that's actually happening, I have noticed that there are people who have got art channels. There's actually a woman who does art, a young lady that does art on her channel, whose rapture video I watched. She got a rapture dream and decided to share it on a platform that she already has subscribers on. What's the point of starting a brand spanking new channel just for the sake of sharing your rapture dream when you already have an audience? The algorithm will push you out a lot further if your audience likes it that already is existing in your subscriber base. She was not a Christian channel, but she spoke Christian content. This woman was not, and currently still is not, a Christian YouTube channel. But she shared Christian content for the day, and I found it. I didn't subscribe to her because she doesn't generally do Christian content. I liked the one video that she has. However, this is a woman that has convictions unto Jesus, and she also got a rapture dream. Yeah, so with this intensifying censorship movement that's just getting worse and worse to a point where you never really know what they're going to silence you over, what they're going to term medical disinformation, what they're going to term harassment, what they're going to term whatever it is that are the myriads of partial rules across the board because they don't blanketly apply to everybody. How in the world under heaven can you guarantee that you're actually safe as a skincare content creator that one day just rocks up on your already 500,000 having channel to just lay your laments about how you feel about the fact that they are trying to indoctrinate your daughter into embracing the colorful agenda. Just to come and rock up and share a story about what happened in a school where your daughter attends classes and how it is that there was a drag queen speaking random stuff to your child. And here it is that you rock up on your makeup channel complaining about this on some guys. Look, I don't care what you believe. Do you? I'm not against anything or anyone. Do you? Whatever lifestyle you have, do you? But please don't shove it down my child's throat. And then next thing you've got a harassment strike or a harassment warning on a channel that generally is for makeup. That day is coming. Do you understand? Like, everybody has some kind of thing that they stand for, whatever it might be. And if among the things you stand for just so happens to be the taboo points of discussion on the earth that nobody should be talking about, you stand to be harassed for that. Christians are not going to be the only ones that are deplatformed or conservative voices. It's going to be random moms and dads that have got sporting channels or that just bake puff pastry, but who today just want to complain about the fact that they try to shove it down their child's throat, some strange agenda. You're gonna have your channel given a strike, and you're gonna be told you can't bake puff pastry for a week because you are with strike number 1. Dare rock up with second strike, and you're gonna be gone for 2 weeks. And if you dare just keep on talking about the harassment at your child's school, well, I mean, your whole channel with 500,000 subscribers is gonna go away. There comes a time when even if you are non-political or you don't want to be a little bit extreme when you talk about things, that you're gonna finally want to open your mouth because it's literally coming to a next door neighbor near you, because it's coming to a backyard near you, because it's coming literally inside your freaking kitchen. And so for those reasons, you just can't keep silent anymore, and they're going to bring down your video. So I mean, fine, I do have a conservative channel, it's Christian, and I do have extreme views, but I'm not the only one. That lady from that channel, Journey with the Hintons, that I subscribed to a couple of months ago when I was trying to make money online, that fell through because everything in my life appears to be falling apart. I've got a supernatural life. It's like a horror movie. Paranormal activity 24 hours a day. Those people who love to investigate haunted mansions, I'm the perfect case study. But anyway, whatever. Moving past that, she shared content that was Christian when generally she does these money-making videos only. And the day is going to arrive. The way that these people are encroaching on us, beastly are they, amphibious are they, like a wild animal that's just going to pounce on you and gnaw away at your bones without you having seen it coming. They are going to stealthily darken the web to a point where you are not even going to be able to freely speak about sin without having your channel being given a strike or whatever. That Christians are literally going to be forced to emigrate away to websites and like non-censoring platforms, etc., such environments as those. And you who remain on YouTube baking your puff pastry will feel so, like I said, amphibiously attacked by this random thwarting agenda that you will want to say something about it on your platform, unbeknownst to yourself how bad it gets, because that's just the thing. If you have not been harassed by these mafia of everybody's voices that are taking us over with these narcotics they're trying to slip up everybody's like nasal passages, that we might be high on the supply of their random agenda. Unless you have been personally attacked by these, like I said, mafia, you won't know that there's a really big fat chunky issue. If all you do is makeup, you will not know just how bad it gets on YouTube. Unless you are actively following Christian content creators, you are not going to know just how many people are falling like dominoes every single day because of demonetization, deplatforming, censorship, age restricting, whatever it is that they do. You would not know. So given that you will have literally been in the random darkness for a good like 10 years, unbeknownst to yourself as to how bad censorship will get, you will likely be happy to freely speak on your channel about that which many of us have been emigrated over to websites to speak on. And then you're going to find yourself getting a warning. And then Guzo Shuba on that day, you're going to realize that, oh my goodness, it's actually just gotten really real right now. It's gotten so intense and so deep and so extreme right now that there is nothing that I personally can do anymore without being scared all the time. Allow me to explain to you what constant demonetization or constant flagging, constant age restricting, constant striking of your channel actually achieves in you psychologically, that you can understand as well just the level of trauma and paranoia that you end up wearing every single time before you upload a new video, before you type in a new post, before you do anything at all. What under heaven happens? This person needs to bomb their car. Goodness gracious, there isn't even a wind outside. I don't know why this person's car just keeps on going off, but that's just the thing. Every time I come here to talk, that happens with the alarm, and it distracts me severely. But I'm just gonna carry on talking through it anyway, because we gotta resist the devil before he flees from us. He doesn't just run away and, skedaddle. So yeah, anyway, whatever, moving on. Just to help you understand the psychological torment that dwells in the heart. What in the world am I seeing back there? Sorry, I panicked. What I was looking at back there, I'm probably gonna cut it out. But I saw there was like somebody that was loitering outside. It turns out it was a security guard fixing that alarm that was going off and off and off. I live at the back of my mother's house in a shack, and I have had peeping toms literally just kind of look into this environment, and I thought that somebody was literally just like, shining a torch, a flashlight in this environment to see what in the world is going on, and I freaked out. So I went outside to go and find out what's happening, and I interrogated the guy, and it turns out that it's a security company that was trying to fix the situation that's causing the alarm to just go off and off and off and off. I hope that that's exactly what was going on over here. This is South Africa. There's a lot of crime going on, but I definitely have bravery. I don't scare from anything. I once had there was some random stranger, like there was a trespasser some time ago that was busy trying to steal out of people's cars in the wee hours of the morning, and I busted him. I actually ran after him because I just don't have fear. I cannot let swallow in me, because for me it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And he ran off and he ran away. So things like these, people just kind of they curl up like a fetus and they just watch them happen, because this world is dangerous, it's violent, somebody's gonna get shot. It's like, I'd give your life to Christ, and then on that day you're not gonna be scared to die, and then on that day you might actually be brave to fight wicked structures that are literally trespassing in your backyard. This thing that happened, the bravery of me standing up to go and see if somebody's actually trying to do some strange thing, is precisely because I have the blood of the Lamb that has covered my life to a point where now I'm no longer a coward, even unto death, such that I can chase after criminals who are literally in the wrong place. And YouTube right now is that criminal. They're trespassing in your backyard, in your brain. They're trying to control your narrative. They're trying to say what you must speak. And if you don't get out of your little hut and hunt down the thing that's spiting you, you're going to find yourself all of a sudden just curling up or retracting into some amphibious position. Not amphibious, I wanted to say fetal position. Just scared. Just constantly scared. Like shaking. You're just going to be afraid. Guys, you know what? Wickedness will ever just continue to ramp up on earth. I will eventually get to the point of speaking about the psychological damage that is caused in your members by constant censorship. And I want to explain to you guys just what in the world it actually means for you spiritually, psychologically, well, I guess spiritually too. But in terms of behavioral conditioning, just literally a recreation of a societal personality from what it is that it used to be. How to subdue or numb or dumb down the drones. Like, you condition them unto fear until ultimately they just kind of do what you want them to do. Salivating, panting at your little metronome or ringing bell because they think you're Pavlov's dogs. You need to refuse to be socially conditioned. Please, like, I cannot forget what in the world under heaven I wanted to talk about before I got to this point. Oh, come on, man. You see now, and I'm under attack. Like, my mind, it's just like whatever it is I was trying to say, the devil took it. Anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll probably remember. But let's just go then back right into what I was talking about when I was speaking about the psychological damage that is done in you as a person when you keep on getting stricken, when you keep on getting warnings and brought down, especially when you have worked like a dog to build a channel and get it to a certain level, to get it to a certain number of subscribers, to get it to a certain number of people listening to you, when you are busy building your narrative, building your brand, and then you are threatened with losing it. In psychology, it is called operant conditioning, right? Classical conditioning is another kind of messing with your instruments to basically change your behavior, to train you as to how in the world under heaven to act. These people are intelligent, they're smart, and they are literally using psychological conditioning on a global population to create a global personality that is only a particular kind of way. When you are being experimented on like that, under heaven, why do you not then revolt? Why do you not then lament? Why don't you boycott? Like, the quickest and easiest way to go around the whole YouTube issue is not even so much to, like riot and jump up and down on the spot like a kangaroo. No, that's not going to do anything, because you're still going to go and upload your riot on YouTube and still feed their stupid library. Boycotting is the best way out, because then that is getting to their bottom line. It is pinching them as a business. It's hurting advertisers. That's what people need to do. Yes, I remembered what it is that I wanted to talk about before I forgot it. I actually had to rewatch that little video to, use it as a mnemonic cue to bring back what I wanted to speak about. Today I was watching a short on YouTube of some, what do they call this? Shoplifter. A shoplifter was held in some kind of like some brave American man held him while he was busy trying to shoplift. It looked like it could have been a keg of, not a keg of beer, but a 6-pack of beers. He just wanted to like take them and go. So currently in the US, in some states, there is this absurd law that certain crimes just need to be allowed to thrive. I don't even know what the rationale behind that is. South Africa, that's where I live, okay, is a crazy country. They have sinned abominably against God. They love witchcraft. They keep on schnoffing it like lines of cocaine up their throats and being high, up their noses and being high literally every single day. But such a thing as that would never fly in South Africa. Like, never. A crime in this country is a crime, and there is nobody even trying to deny that it is a crime. Crime might be through the roof. Looters might be looting like no man's business when there is some calamity slapping a general ecosystem. Crime is through the roof in South Africa, but you will never see a shoplifter in South Africa walking lackadaisically, basically just hopping on the spot like a bunny rabbit into a store, grab what they want and just get out. That would never happen. Not only would that individual be apprehended by people in the store, but the police would get called and there would be an actual pursuit of that human being. But apparently, there was some law that got passed in the United States of America by certain states that say that, certain crimes are, one, first of all, they are reduced to nothing but a random misdemeanor, including attempted murder, and then other things do not get prosecuted because apparently prisons are full or something. I really don't have the full context or understanding as to what's going on there, but ever since that particular law got passed in those particular leftist states, let me just put it out there that it's leftist states. So all of y'all that keep on voting Joe Biden or anything at all Democratic, you're crazy. It's that basic. Yeah, anyway, that particular law caused a whole bunch of people to walk into grocery stores and take what they want. And no one can do anything. Shop attendants, clerks that work there just kind of have to watch this go on and do nothing. They can literally do nothing. These people don't even walk in with guns and knives saying stick 'em up. They just like lackadaisically just, glide in and get out carrying goods. And there was a man holding this particular dude down, basically wrestling him to say, you're not going to leave with this. Get out. Understand that what because of the law that has been passed in the US, because of this law that got passed in the US, calling the police is not going to make a difference. All the police can do, I guess, or would do in that particular situation, is grab this young man or this young woman or this old man or whatever, this human being that is committing this atrocity, and just kind of, lead them out. Gently just tell them, get out, please, you don't get to do that. It's not nice. It's not nice to do that. Don't do it. Like you're disciplining a child, like a teenager. Hey, just leave me alone. Like you're disciplining a teenager for kissing her boyfriend. Like you're disciplining a teenager for kissing her boyfriend, and you just feel as if though she's too young to do that as a parent. Like, don't do that, Martha. Don't do that, little Martha, because you're too young to be kissing that boy. And on top of that, your grades are messed up. You keep failing maths at school, and you're busy kissing the boys. Martha, don't do it. Yeah, that's how it is. That I guess these criminals would be apprehended. Just told, don't do that, Martha. Except it's not Martha. It's some chunky, freaking irresponsible dude that doesn't want to get a job, that wants to go and take some beer because he felt like he needed a drink. Yeah, that's what's good for the day. Like people just walking in and out of stores, taking what they want. And so, I mean, at that stage, then I guess if at all you still feel like somebody gotta effect law and order in this place, what's gonna happen? Vigilante justice, exactly. people are going to take matters into their own hands. So there was this man holding this random criminal down while the store clerk was busy on her phone pacing, while another person was busy recording this as a video on YouTube and to upload it on YouTube. And this woman asked the guy who was recording, why under heaven are you busy standing there recording? Do something. Help that man that's trying to prevent this guy from stealing our goods in our grocery store. And the person recording the video was like, this is your job. This is a man talking to a woman. He is like, it's your job. I don't work here, first of all. Why don't you do something about it? You are the one that works over here. And he's the one that decides that he's going to be a good Samaritan. I don't want to do any of that because I don't want to put myself in danger. My goodness, in the book of Revelation, in Revelation 22, when the Lord is speaking about people that are basically going to be shut out of the kingdom of heaven, it is written that outside of the kingdom of heaven are the dogs. And among those dogs described therein are people who are cowardly. People who disregard entirely their part in society, what we used to call civic duty. They comprehensively ignore what they have to do because they're scared of a bullet, because they're scared of a knife, because they're scared of a whatever. And that brave man that was holding down this criminal, basically asking for all of perhaps there could have been 100 people in that store to help him. Just two guys, I've got him down. All we need to do is just carry this buffoon out. I've been made to live with a cat that's all over my face, and when it hears my voice it gets all excited, and it's I just don't have the liberty or the luxury, neither the leg room to be dealing with an animal. But these are my living conditions, and I am in this position precisely because of people's lack of bravery. Who is this? Cain. When the Lord asked him, so you can understand just how Cainic the society is. When the Lord, after killing his brother Abel, asked him, where is your brother Abel? What did Cain say? Am I my brother's keeper? Exactly. That mindset is exactly what's going to be ending the world in the last days. People are going to have a mindset like, am I my brother's keeper? Please. I'm not in any position to go and heroically jump into an ecosystem and rescue the day because I am holding on for dear life to a life that's not even mine to hold on to. That is what's going on. A lack of appropriate action on the part of a human race that would be less in danger of literally complete annihilation or extinction if at all they decided that they're not going to be such scary cats anymore. The fact that human beings capitulate to fear is precisely the reason why the global elites are doing this to us. Fear of loss of convenience, fear of loss of money, fear of loss of comfort, fear of loss of all of these things. And insofar as they can dangle the prospect of that being a thing in your life, you will then stand back idly by while you observe your rights getting taken away, ushered from out of your ecosystem like freaking urine from your bladder. You're going to watch everything that you've ever stood for just be undermined because now you're making money. Because now you're scared to lose that money that you're making, the house that you're living in. You are afraid. But according to the scriptures, cowards are locked outside of the kingdom of heaven because cowards are Cain. Cowards say, am I my brother's keeper? Cowards speak like that guy who was recording the YouTube video and say while observing a person stealing in a store as if though you are not part of the problem. When a woman says to him, are you going to just stand there and record, do something? And he responds to the store clerk by saying, I don't work here. First of all, it's your job. A man, a whole baritone voice speaking back, even though his face was not in the video because he was the one that was recording. This baritone voiced human being is telling a female to basically help another man that is holding down a robber and is saying, you jump in, lady. Oh my goodness. That is not even the epitome of chivalry being dead. That is just men disappearing of society altogether. You proper are telling a woman to go and hold down a criminal in a store. The only one in a store full of about 100 people maximum. And you are helping this robber get away with murder because you're scared of getting shot or something. Or you're scared. It was even clear that particular robber didn't have a weapon on him. The way that man held him down for so long, it was clear he could be subdued. But no one else intervened. No one else intervened. And that robber got away. He got away. He got out with I believe 1 6-pack of beer. He was going to leave with maybe 32. What that man did was succeed to basically what is this? Spare the store in question more shrinkage. He caused that store to save, I guess, however many dollars it would have cost for that guy to take 4 six packs of beer as opposed to just one. He got out with one. So that's what he prospered to do. However, if that man had been subdued, if the dude with the camera, instead of recording a stupid YouTube video, actually put that phone down and subdued this man and 3 or 4 men in the store, after confirming to the one brave man that he doesn't even have a weapon on him, they could have just carried him out like a woman whisked into a hotel room on her wedding night by the groom. They could have just carried this man. Each man could take 1 foot. Each man take 2 men, 1 foot each. Another 2, 1 hand each. 1 arm each, and just thrown him out of the store and blocked the passageway of that store for that man to come inside until he left and decided to go and rob another convenience store. Instead, he got away with 1 6-pack of beer because some idiot for clout on YouTube chose to rather record a video and tell a female to go and intervene in male matters where a male was robbing a store. And we all know that men, the reason why they even prosper to rape women fatter than them is because they have got far greater upper body strength than we ever can have. And so therefore that woman was not the right person to do anything at all. All she could do is pace up and down, and she was on the phone with the police. What would the police have done? Given that it is law that you should let these people get away with murder scot-free. Yeah, no. The police would have rocked up, like I said, and probably, reprimanded this robber the way that you would reprimand Martha, the promiscuous teenage girl, for kissing all the boys in the community. That's what's good. They would have just told him, please get out. It is not ideal that you should do this thing over here. We do not like that you are robbing. You are messing up with the American economy. So if you could just gently walk out. And while they're at it, how about you just put a red carpet for him to be given a walk of freaking fame as opposed to a walk of shame. That's what's happening in America. Such stuff would never fly. Ever in South Africa, no matter how high our crime rates are, criminals are resisted just very generally. They are resisted. They don't just get to rob a convenience store without coming in with a knife or a gun. They don't get to make people just be subdued. There's a whole bunch of vigilante justice out here in these streets that wreak havoc in the lives of criminals. So while we might indeed have a problem, there is nothing quite like the problem, the unique one at that, in the United States of America. What kind of a government hooks up a law like that? A crazy country, a crazy government, a crazy leftist conglomerate, and it is these left buffoons. It is these left buffoons, just by the way putting it out there, that are currently also censoring the whole freaking planet. All of us, all the way down to South Africa, where I'm at. They are censoring us. These leftist buffoons that are running a Serekisi in America are smothering the voices of Africans, of Australians, of Canadians, the voices of South Americans, the voices of Asians, the voices of everybody else on the earth. These people who legalize crimes as lofty, even letting people get away with a slap on their wrist like it's a just basic misdemeanor. Those who do attempted murder. Countries, a leftist conglomerate of that nature. Let me not blame all of the US because there is half a conglomerate there of them that are more sensible. Yeah, but those guys, they're the ones that are shutting up the whole planet. People who come up with laws like those to a point where a whole bunch of cowards in convenience stores allow a criminal to get away in the name of, I'm scared because then I might just get shot. According to the Bible, you are your brother's keeper. According to the Bible, you had a responsibility to rescue that convenience store from being robbed. You, as a human being, have the responsibility, but you see, human beings, they hold on for dear life to a life that's not even theirs to hold on to, because God can cut their silver cords any day now. They hold on to it so longingly and lovingly, that they are prepared to watch their societies dwindle and fade into the abyss right in front of their eyes while they do nothing. You are a coward and you are outside. The thing that ought give mankind bravery is the recognition and the understanding of the fact that this world is not it. It does not end with us breathing our last. There is eternal life to inherit. To live is Christ, but to die is gain. So if death is the thing that people are scared of, once you have life in Christ, you then gain bravery. You realize that when you die, you go to heaven. And so you take the risk when you have the Holy Spirit to basically stop a robber dead in his tracks, because the bravery you are given is from Jesus. You are the one with the reward. But society is becoming increasingly heathen. Society is becoming increasingly antichrist. And with us trying to spread the gospel seed, to make people more brave, to intervene in store robberies, that our societies might be rescued, that criminals might be disincentivized from doing what they want to do. Yeah, those of us who are speaking that message, it is us that are being censored. We are the voice of reason. We are the restrainer. We are the ones that are trying to prevent your earth from going to the dogs by creating more soldiers for bravery. Creating women that are happy to chase after robbers because they don't care for their lives unto death, for they have Jesus, who can give them eternal life. Never mind that. Actual protection from a robber in waking life. He can actually save your life that you might not even have to lose it at all. There is this trend on social media right now of young men and women, kids basically, some of them are not even yet adults, going into people's houses, doing pranks and putting them up on TikTok, while the owners of these houses, all they can do is be like, what are you doing in my house? Please get out. These people gain so much traction and so much fame that they even get interviewed by news networks. Like literally they are given a stage to continue being fools. You know, celebrities back in the day used to say bad publicity is publicity at all. Like people like Britney Spears would go on right ahead to pull a stunt in front of the media that makes her look really bad, but at least somebody's talking about her. So you got celebrities like Lindsay Lohan stealing just so they can get covered in the tabloids. That's what's good. Well, now it is no longer just celebrities doing that, since social media has created little celebrities out of regular Janes and Joes on the street. Now, Janes and Joes are committing crimes in their individual countries just so they can gain clout on social media. And this clout is being given them because indeed, just like a Britney Spears that eventually gets interviewed by CNN, that eventually gets interviewed by Oprah, that eventually gets interviewed by some big fat chunky person that's going to give them even more followers on TikTok. They bring them on whether or not it's to rebuke them or to praise them. They bring them on these shows, and these big, giant, gargantuan, mainstream media platforms are putting delinquents, juveniles on their shows, giving them more followers and more money, therefore, more sponsorships, therefore, just by rebuking them on their shows. Rebuking them. There was one news or talk show host guy that was so irritated with some like random prankster of the sort that he kicked him off his show and even threw papers at him. And he said, I didn't even want him to come on the show in the first place. Basically, he was disgruntled by the fact that his producers forced him to interview a guy that he didn't want to give more airtime than he already had. That's the world we're living in. People being given bravado because literally things are being allowed to slip under the carpet. They are being given airtime. Well, I am here to basically try and galvanize some kind of a movement with my little binary code worth of like views on YouTube to just boycott people with silence, to boycott people with bravery, to boycott social media from continuing to silence the only voices that make sense. When people get saved in Christ, they become brave and they stop whatever under heaven is the rubbish going on in the left in America. America, of which is influencing the whole freaking planet, for crying out loud, and so they cannot be allowed to continue like such animals. They just can't. Well, that lack of bravery is the reason why I am sitting in squalor, devastated, destituted, literally sacrificed for death by my whole country. I've been left to die. I have been left to die by my countrymen because guess what they're scared of? So in America, it's the criminal that comes in and steals beer for free. That takes beer, goes on and literally has an alcohol for free party at his apartment because he was able to go and steal it from some grocery store. That's what's good. The tantamount of alcohol is being stolen, the tantamount of crime running rampant, unfettered by the police in my country is witchcraft. And when they see a person is obviously clearly under a curse, everybody avoids them. On some, ooh, I don't want to catch a stray. Oh my goodness, no, I don't want to be stabbed in the middle of this robbery. I'm not going to be the good Samaritan. I am not going to be my brother's keeper. And so a whole bunch of South Africans scared of witchcraft are running away from me. They are staying away from my content. They're staying away from my particular case because they're scared that they're going to catch whatever disease has cursed my life. Except I make it clear that I'm not cursed, I'm blessed. I am here rather to speak a message and make it clear that there is something very diabolical going on in the country. And in order for me to be believable in so sharing a testimony as that, the Lord has seen it fit to make my life like one that is stranded and stuck in all ways. He gave me a Job experience where, albeit being completely innocent, he has allowed the devil to take everything away from me. And in so it looking like I'm cursed by some sangomas in this country. Every South African that I have ever touched has avoided me. They have avoided me because they think I am cursed. They are like ones who are allowing theft from convenience stores because I don't want to catch whatever bullet it is that is in that guy's gun. A whole bunch of brazen onlookers, spectators, watching a completely innocent, viable woman age with no love, no respect, no honor, no help coming in her direction at all. They are watching me waste away. They are watching my geriatric womb literally head for menopause with nobody coming in to give me a hand of help because they're scared of witchcraft. It's a global disease. And the only voices on the earth that are helping people to rather understand that they ought not fear man who can do nothing but kill the body, but only fear God who can, after killing the body, take the soul and the body into hell. The only voices that are speaking such a sober thing as this, and so therefore giving people bravery to stand against rubbish, they're being silenced on social media in their incredible numbers. We are being smothered. We are being told you don't get to talk. We cannot speak out against sin. I just came across yet another Christian. I told you every single week there is something going on that either gets demonetized or deplatformed or something happens to them. Yeah. Another channel called Gospel of Christ has not so much been all of it demonetized, but one of the videos he uploaded got demonetized. And I'm like, it's only a matter of time, dear brother, before your whole channel is demonetized, because it happened to yet another brother who first got age restricted, and then 2 weeks later he was completely demonetized. The whole channel was gone, all of it. First, what happened to Gospel of Christ channel, a very beautiful reformed channel. I absolutely love that man's work. The young man, he's doing really well for Jesus, and frankly I'm rooting for him. I watch his content every single week. Everything he uploads, I try to see what in the world he has to say. Yeah, one of his videos this week, I told you, I've been speaking this, that it went from being maybe once a month or every 3 months, where somebody that I am subscribed to will get demonetized or deplatformed. It has ramped up. It has increased exponentially, this issue, where now literally every single week somebody I find out about either has been stricken, or they have been demonetized, or they've been, if they've been deplatformed, I wouldn't know because their channel disappears altogether, right? And I'm not actively searching them out to find out what's going on. Something has happened every single week. There is a case of this nature. Last week it was Treasure Christ. This week it's Gospel of Christ. One of his videos was demonetized, and I can just see it. That what's going to inevitably happen is that his whole channel is going to end up demonetized. Because that's what they did with with Treasure Christ Ministry. What they did there was first age restrict his content. He kept on uploading, and then they would age restrict. After he just continued on with what he was doing, they then stopped age restricting him, and they just demonetized his entire channel. So Gospel of Christ is going to get demonetized, all of it. If he continues to speak the things that he speaks, he will get demonetized. What in the world did he get demonetized for? What was that video? In his video, he was basically complaining about those who mock the religion of Christianity. A video where a whole bunch of Satanists tearing up Bibles was demonetized for being full of harassment. He was speaking out using the word of God against harassment of him as a Christian, and the blasphemy of tearing up a Bible by some satanic cult, and his video was demonetized for that. Soon he is going to get demonetized his entire channel, not just that one video. So when you complain about blasphemy against the name of Jesus, you get demonetized. It stopped even being about the colorful alphabet agenda. It stopped being about medical disinformation. It stopped being about all these other things that they initially demonetized or deplatformed for. Now they're coming at you for simply complaining that somebody blasphemed the name of Christ. So one of these days it's going to be the message of the cross, period. That's going to get a person deplatformed. If it's not nice and sweet and fluffy, it's going to get deplatformed. It's going to be deemed hateful. It's going to be deemed unacceptable in terms of YouTube's community guidelines, whatever the heck they are, because no matter how many times you read them, nothing ever justifies the level of insanity that they're doing to people right now. So herein lies your channels disappearing one by one. Voices of people that make sense, they keep on disappearing. Demonetization. That's what classical conditioning. That, dear people, is what classical conditioning looks like, and operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is negative and positive reinforcement, reward and punishment. Basically, you reward somebody for doing something, and so it reinforces their behavior. Or you punish them for doing something or not doing something, and so therefore it reinforces behavior. In the case of a child, you give them a little sweetie when they do their homework, and so it reinforces them doing their homework every single day. However, when they keep on muddying your bed sheets and you take away from them their cell phones, then that child will stop muddying your bed sheets every time they come into the house after playing outside. That's negative reinforcement. While they are employing that strategy on a global population using censorship. They're saying if you speak about such things as these, we will reward you by keeping your channel up. If you speak about things like this, we will punish you by demonetizing or by removing your video and giving you a strike. So keep on doing what you want to do, but understand that if you do not allow your behavior to be changed, transformed, to be conformed to this particular way of being, if your whole personality essentially does not change to that which we prefer you have, you are going to one day not be able to make money online at all. You're not going to be able to monetize. Whatever hundreds of thousands that you make on your channel that has got 1 million subscribers, understand it's going to go bye-bye. So now they are driving the narrative by negatively or positively reinforcing us. That's operant conditioning. Classical conditioning is also a system of rewards, not so much rewards and punishment. It is appearing some kind of a stimulus or a set of conditions with a trigger, like a paired stimulus. So with Pavlov's dogs, what happened is the dogs would get fed meat every time after a metronome goes off or a bell rings. So these dogs associated the ringing of a bell with getting meat, and so they would salivate. So the behavior at this point that they were trying to condition was salivation. One day, when they were ringing the bell or clicking or ticking the metronome, they took away the meat. And because the dogs paired the meat being given them with the ringing of a bell, they salivated even though there was no meat anymore. Here it is that behavior has been trained a dog to salivate at the ringing of a bell even when there is no reward. So what would be the tantamount of the ringing bell? When your channel just keeps on getting brought down every time you speak about the colorful agenda, that's the ringing bell paired with a stimulus, such that you will eventually get to a point where even when they no longer bring down content, or when they no longer lament or speak, when they are no longer doing anything negative to your particular channel based on something that you spoke about, you nonetheless still avoid talking about that topic in particular, just because you are afraid, you are scared that you might just get demonetized, and it's working like a charm. Only look at how many people have stopped talking about the global disease. Only look at how many, in a taboo capacity, only look at how many people have gone on to colorfully, only look at how many people have gone on right ahead to colorfully cloak the language on their tongue with all different kinds of code talk, with all different kinds of acronyms, spelling things out. I spelled things out in one of my videos and I still got my channel brought down. Not channel, sorry, but like one of my videos brought down and I was given a strike. I was spelling things out and YouTube still. I was essentially a successful case for classical conditioning or operant, basically trying to reinforce me to never either speak about that ever again. Because herein lies the deal, guys. These algorithms, even the artificial intelligence that they use, and the moderators that they hire, the actual individual flesh and blood that they hire to do all of this censoring, they're dealing with billions of people on the earth. As a small number of human beings, they frankly do not have enough resources to flag every last one of us. So if they can threaten as many of us as possible and get us to also spread the message on their behalf, they disincentivize or they cause a training. It's like they are hiring us to go and educate the world on what to talk about and what not to talk about in order to make sure that your channel on YouTube is not brought down. So there are people who are starting brand spanking new channels on YouTube, literally speaking code talk about the global disease, or a whole bunch of people that choose not to talk about the global disease. They censor, they speak, they censor themselves. They mute and they bleep themselves because they've been trained by other Christians who have been spanked for doing this bad thing. So our behavior has then now been reinforced, and it has changed the way that we are communicating now going forward. They are going to keep doing this until they have literally recruited for themselves their own free lecturers that they do not pay to train a global citizenship of aspiring content creators on what to speak about and what not to speak about, unless you should find yourself in my freaking shoes. They are employing psychological conditioning methodologies on a human population like we are Pavlov's dogs. And you are content with that? You want to continue to smother your beautiful vocabulary with code words for real? You want to disincentivize yourself from actually maintaining good language practice by speaking in random, funny, weird parables perpetually, like causing steam to come out of your brain, just because you don't want to trigger some artificial intelligence, just because you don't want to trigger some deadbeat random drone hired by YouTube as a moderator. Is that really the future of the human race? Everything we've ever come to know and respect just thrown out the window just like that because you want to make money. You are your brother's keeper. You have a responsibility to boycott social media. You cannot merely just take in your stride being Pavlov's dogs. You just can't. You just can't. You cannot smother what you want to say because you're scared that you're going to be brought low, which then brings me to the psychological manipulation. The fear, guys. The psychological manipulation of content creators. I just want to help you understand what it does in a person psychologically, all right, to evidence therefore that we are being classically conditioned or operantly conditioned, depending really on how you want to look at things. The psychological condition of a person that has been deplatformed, I don't know where they're at. They've left. I will only ever find out when they start a new channel and I find it, because their particular videos, entire channel is gone. It's completely gone. So you can understand the psychological makeup of a demonetized person, or a person who has been given a strike or two, a person that's been given a warning, a person that's been age restricted, a person that has had their video glitch on Twitch. Goodness gracious, it also happened to Joe Kirby. If you have watched Joe Kirby's videos, Joe Kirby is one of the most politically correct, however very incredibly sound Christians on the internet. He knows how to give the gospel in a sound, veracious way that is biblical, without compromising biblical veracity, yes indeed, but also without offending people. That is Joe Kirby, okay? That's Joe Kirby right there. And Joe Kirby has recently had one of his videos that he recently uploaded, as politically correct as he is, so AI, neither a moderator can bring him down. They'd have no excuse. He has had to upload recently one of his videos 3 times because it just disappeared on YouTube. It just disappeared. He uploaded it and it disappeared, and he did it again and again, and he just kept uploading it. Some of the comments of his subscribers, including, well, I didn't comment, but I read the comments section, were, "Don't worry, Jojo, I'm watching it for the second time." He re-uploaded the same video 3 times before it stayed on YouTube permanently. That's how they are harassing Joe Kirby, who is so politically correct in the way that he gives his messages, that they cannot, with any level of justification, actually bring down any of these videos. If they can come for Joe Kirby, who in the world are you who are happy to be a little bit taboo? Who are you who are happy to, basically step on some toes? Who are you when you don't have the gentleness of Joe Kirby on your tongue, when you don't have that gift? Because that man has a gift. I cannot take that. He's got a gift of knowing how to give the gospel somehow without triggering people. He's good because he's also veracious, like I said. If you don't have the gift of Joe Kirby, who are you? Because you're strikeable, you're damnable, you're bring downable, you're deplatformable. You are not going to be danced around, pranced around, just frolicked around by YouTube, who's just going to make a decision to delete your video after you've uploaded it. Keep doing it, Joe Kirby. They are also now reinforcing Joe Kirby's behavior as to what kind of content he will now upload because certain videos are being brought down. Certain of Joe Kirby's videos, this most recent video of Joe Kirby, was brought down but without a strike because there is nothing in there that is offensive. So he kept on uploading it, and the title of his most recent upload was "Uploading again for a 3rd time, guys. If it disappears again this time, I'm just going to leave it out. I'm going to delete it. I'm not going to retry to upload this video." Joe Kirby does so much editing. I imagine he probably has hired some people to do it for him, right? If not, then the amount of editing that would go into Joe Kirby's videos just from watching what his videos look like alone is a lot. So when you have put in that much time and your content gets brought down, and the millions of people that you generally, he's got over 1 million subscribers, 2 million subscribers on his YouTube account, and it's not monetized. He's such a good man. My goodness, he's such an example. Like, I absolutely adore Joe Kirby. But when you have worked that hard on something and then they keep on bringing it down, ultimately your brain is going to register that a certain kind of video triggers the powers that be to delete my video, so that I keep uploading it over and over and over again. So in the future, he may very potentially tread lightly around his words or his content to make sure that he does not trigger YouTube. We are Christians. We are not supposed to water down our message because the world is giving us pressure. But understand, we are caving and capitulating anyway. Why? Because we are made of dust. The Bible, it is written therein that the Lord has compassion on us, for he remembers that we are dust. So because we are dust, we are unfortunately successfully being conditioned. We are unfortunately successfully being made to tread lightly. Just the fact that we even speak in code on our videos, even when we are not speaking anything taboo, that is rubbish just on its own. The fact that you gotta go and reinvent a way of communicating when you were trained to speak in a particular way all your life, and now because you are a content creator, you have to come up with a brand spanking new language to speak to like a foreign people. Ingati, we are the Navi, speaking Navi language, or like those little monsters in the cartoon show, back in the day, Jumanji, that when you speak you need to be like, so that the others on the outside don't understand you. The other day I did a whole entire maybe hour long or half an hour long series just speaking in Tswana and Zulu, all different kinds of South African languages to dodge YouTube censorship. But I can't do that because I am trying to reach a broader audience. So I have to stick to English. Otherwise, my channel is going to dwindle even further than what it already has dwindled, thanks to YouTube censorship. So I capitulated and I spoke an entire session of communication in Zulu, Tswana, whatever might be the myriad Afrikaans, South African languages that perhaps AI has not quite yet learned to flag. It has not yet trained the system to flag these particular languages because they're not globally recognized. Yes, guys, what? This is torturous and abusive. Frankly, it's unsavory, and they're doing it to an entire global citizenship. They get us used to the glory of freedom of speech and also they get us used to being able to basically be self-made in a way where we don't have to go through talent agencies, we don't have to go through auditions. We just need to plonk ourselves in front of a television screen, in front of a camera, upload our content and get viewed by people, and so therefore realize that, oh my goodness, I've got something to offer. They get us used to all that. They get us used to all that for decades, frankly. For over just under 2 decades, they get us used to it. And then one day they're like, no, sorry, you gotta talk like this. What kind of rubbish is that? It's like being married to a man that is initially in the marriage very, very doting over you, adoring, flower buying and trip taking and everything. Hey, Christian Louis Vuitton shoes, surprising you on a random Tuesday. And then next thing, he starts to become cold, aloof, removed. And then when you ask him, what in the world is wrong, husband? He then goes and slaps you on the face, shocking the living daylights out of you because you never imagined a man like that could ever become physically aggressive with you. That's what YouTube has become. A freaking Turner, a deadbeat husband that started out doting over his wife. How in the world are you going to treat your own content creators like that? People who literally run or drive your revenue. They are trusting in content creators that are kind of neutral to keep them afloat. They are trusting that. They are thoroughly trusting that, which is why I am coming at the bakers. I'm coming at the reviewers of fashion. I am coming at the hair content creators right now. I am coming at the mukbang doers. I'm coming at the people who do content that YouTube can never ever find offensive. And I am challenging them to ask them, really? Really? Are you seriously only just a person that eats way too much food in all of your gluttony because all you do are mukbangs? Or do you actually have interest in other things? Do you actually have interest in other topics? Do you watch sports? You there who do mukbangs. Well, guess what's happening in the world of sports? They are trying to infiltrate men into competitions for women only. And men are winning these competitions because they are moving over from one gender to the next using hormones. And so now your favorite tennis player, your favorite female athlete is going to be scooted off the show by some male athlete that is at best substandard in their own league. So yeah, you might do mukbangs, but this political nonsense is being shoved down the throat of even you who love sport. And even your sporting experience is going to be messed up and towed up from the flow up. And when you complain in your channel where you do mukbangs, because you want to once for in your life, take a stand for female athletes, you're then gonna get yourself lambasted by the woke mob, that freaking mafia that is trying to take the whole world over. Fine, do your mukbangs, but forget about sports then. Forget it. There is currently a world-renowned tennis player that is basically in a league of his own. He stood to win Wimbledon. He stood to win the champion slam thing, whatever, for tennis. Okay, so I don't follow tennis very much. But he was being interviewed by this one news reporter over his refusal to take again, I have to use acronyms here, the funny little thing that goes in your body. He refused to take it and basically stood his ground. Do you understand what I'm saying? And he got interviewed by this news reporter guy that was like, are you seriously prepared to lose your number one standing in the world as a tennis champion just because you don't want to take this random intervention in your body medically that you frankly did not quite sign up for? And he was like, yeah, I'm prepared to do that. And this news reporter was beside himself with horror and shock, could not believe that this man was prepared to basically lose it all just to stand for what he believes in. That's the woke mob for you. That's the woke mob for you. They will basically put in front of you a tennis player, a world champion, a man that is really good at what he does, and say, look at how he's losing everything because he won't stand with us. Except we have mad respect for him. We admire him like no man's business. And such voices are being silenced. So you there who love tennis and who want to see the best of the best indeed competing, but now you can't because one of them won't take the freaking irresponsible injection, because one of them refuses to take some medical intervention they didn't sign up for. Now you don't know how the Wimbledon champion championship could have actually gone. You don't know if this guy could have won. Frankly, it's been manipulated. Here we are only seeing athletes that are woke, able to play. But everybody else that's really good at what they do, forget about it because they refuse to get injected. They refuse to get injected. Yeah, okay. So when stuff like that is happening with you there who just, nicely likes to do videos where you comment on buildings, construction, new infrastructure in your neighborhood. That's what you do. You do travel content. People are constantly seeing you painting the globe red. The way you're always traveling from pillar to post. Yeah. But you really love tennis. And this guy was perhaps even your favorite tennis player, and now he can't play. So are you not going to stand? Are you not going to stand? We understand you might not be afflicted as a tourism content creator. We understand you might not be afflicted as a baker, a cooker, a chef. We understand you might not be afflicted very necessarily and immediately as a person that knits garments. I don't know what under heaven might be the numerous niches out there on YouTube. We understand you might just be doing videos to teach people how to make money using artificial intelligence. The bottom line is you have other interests, and those interests, if you decide to take a stand for them, you might find yourself on your tourism channel being given a warning simply because you stand for a tennis player that won't take the job. Social media, just like Bud Light, needs to be boycotted. Is that basic? Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all of them. People need to just very simply decide to just stop uploading content on there and also stop watching it. It's like fasting. I'm a Christian. I'm always fasting. I'm always fasting because I'm always warding off demons and whatnot. People with their random witchcraft. I live in a very dark country full of random witches flying all over the show, over our roofs, on brooms and stuff. Yeah, no, that's my nation. So I'm always fasting. Yeah. Before I started the discipline of fasting, not before, but in the beginning, it was so hard. I used to get headaches. I struggled. The hunger pangs were killer. They proper were trying to threaten my walk in a fasted state. I wanted to throw in the towel and drop the ball. But after a couple of weeks of doing it, after getting myself used to it over and over again, after developing a discipline to fast twice a week, a 6 to 6, my body stopped getting headaches. And I stopped getting such severe hunger pangs. I started to know how to manage it. I started to know how to find ways around it. That's how you develop a brand spanking new discipline. So in the same way that I could get used to fasting, so too can you get used to just not looking at anything on YouTube anymore. You can get used to using any other browser but Google. You can get used to not using a mainstream platform to get your stuff done. I was listening to another guy who was complaining, a video that was shared on Tom Hughes' channel, Hope for Our Times. Please go check it out. He was lamenting about how it is that he's busy uploading his content on, he mentioned some other thing that I don't know, and Telegram. And he was like, platforms that barely nobody knows about. But I mean, goodness gracious, YouTube has censored me. Censorship is a disease. And I was like, you're right. I don't know Telegram, but I like what I'm hearing you say on Tom Hughes' channel. Meaning that if I had found you on YouTube, I would have followed you. But guess what? YouTube decided to deplatform you. And so I only found you on Tom Hughes' channel. Am I going to Telegram to find that guy? No. I don't have a Telegram account. I don't even know what Telegram looks like. I just know that it's a platform that does exist because so many people that I follow talk about it. But I've never been in there, and neither have I ever gone on right ahead to Telegram purely because the people that I watch are on there. I don't go. Even when people tell me, please guys, go check out my content on Rumble. Please go, please go. I'm like, love you, brother. I'll like and I'll share and I'll subscribe. But goodness, don't expect me to take the big trip around the world to Rumble to find your channel. Oh, it's so much work. I'm guilty. I'm guilty for doing that. But people have to establish it like establishing a fasting discipline. Initially, it'll give you headaches, but at some point, it's going to become second nature. You're going to get used to it, and the results are going to be worth it because when you fast, you slay way more demons than you ever can in a state that is unfasted. So the world needs to fast from YouTube. They need to feel the pinch, much like Bud Light and the other place. What is the Target? Felt it. They need to feel the pinch. The psychological abuse that we are being endured through by the global elites, by corporate executives, literally sitting just in America. I literally cannot get how in the world one country is doing this to the rest of us. I don't get it. Because the social media is largely driven by America. Almost all social media platforms belong to America. It is the only one that's kind of big that does not belong to America is China. Not China, what is this? TikTok, which is Chinese. So how one nation has allowed that it should be used in this way to so hurt the citizens of the world, I don't get it. Like I said, America is like the doting husband that becomes abusive after 5 years of marriage. You don't see it coming. You don't see it coming. They're abusing the earth in the worst way. The psychological manipulation is out of this world. It's like a narcissist. It's like a gaslighting random husband that is going to make you discombobulate your own sense of reality, because you literally cannot believe in all of your cognitive dissonance that your husband became Ike Turner overnight. Just can't believe it. You're holding on for dear life to a platform that needs to be flushed down the toilet because it's a bad man. It's a bad husband. It is abusive. It's gonna land you in the hospital and ultimately maybe even kill you, because some people's livelihoods have been built by Facebook. Well, that too, but YouTube. They are paying rent, bond, children's school fees and everything, and they just freaking take away your channel, and to them it's just one person. They don't care the socioeconomic consequences in a person's life, the dominoes that tip, the lives that get destroyed by an entire channel being demonetized overnight. One man spoke about how he's not even going to be able to afford to pay for his son's college tuition anymore, Franco Pearson, because he relied on the salary increase that YouTube gave him. He was just a taxi driver prior to that, got about 100,000 subscribers in just a short space of time, and was now starting to plan to basically finance his son's college tuition. And now his son is likely facing the predicament and the issue that many university students in America face, garnering for themselves lifetime debt that they're going to have to pay off over very many years, when his dad was about to go and pay cash upfront whatever university his son got accepted into, with his son not having to face that for a future. And YouTube just pulled that rug from under that man's feet, just like that. Just pulled it. Now the man will likely have to go and take out loans if his supporters do not help him along. It is irresponsible, frankly. Who in the world wants to keep on asking people to help them out with, what do you call this thing? Cash App and, what is this? PayPal and whatnot. You guys, some people just want to make money without bothering other human beings. And what YouTube is doing is forcing Christians to basically tell the whole world, guys, please give me money. Please, for what? We're not beggars. The Bible makes it way seeking. Way seeking. Just like it. David says in the scriptures, I was young and now I'm old, yet never had I seen the righteous forsaken or their children begging for bread. Do you know how much it grieves me when a content creator that is Christian on YouTube that has never ever had a Cash App or what do you call this, or a PayPal or even banking details in their description, when they suddenly start to put them there because YouTube demonetized them? Like, there are people who are frankly trying to, first of all, humiliate the health, wealth, and prosperity movement. These men, these charlatans who go out and they bleed sheep dry of money. When Paul made it clear that I don't bug any of y'all because I got my own job. Yeah, content creators that are just trying to make money because their channels are monetized and they get ad revenue, and that's it. And then YouTube is driving them to make like Creflo Dollar and ask money from the congregation. I cannot stand it. Personally, I cannot stand the fact that I have got a PayPal link underneath my own content, or even my banking details in my blog, because I wanted to make my own money from ad revenue. I wanted to get my own website monetized so that I could earn a salary that way from ad revenue, and that's it. Ain't no need to go and bug anybody to go and make a donation to me. And yet I have got these links underneath. Why? Because YouTube has made a decision to freaking shadow ban me before I could even get to a point where I get my 1,000 subscribers and my 4,000 watch hours. I have seen so many brothers and sisters start putting up Cash Apps and PayPals and banking details and all different kinds of funny little things on their channels because they got demonetized. It is taking away from us the dignity of the gospel to just preach it easily with no other issues. That's what's going on over here. An abomination to Emmanuel. His household is supposed to be a house of prayer, but YouTube has made it a den full of thieves. It's made it a place where money changers do their thing. Christians, bantabali busy now trying to do side hustles with like selling merch and all these things, because YouTube refuses to let their channels just thrive. What in the world are you gonna do when you are in my particular shoes, for instance, and you can't even get a job in corporate South Africa anymore? You've been kicked out. You need to make money online. And I am frozen from doing such a thing as that because my voice has been smothered, my voice has been silenced. How long are you going to continue that way? So can you then imagine the psychological ramifications that slap a content creator that keeps on getting shocked with the taser, do you understand, of video demonetization, striking, threat of deplatforming, just daily as they upload their content? The psychological torment is real and it is alive. Like I said, YouTube is like a freaking beating up deadbeat husband. It's Ike Turner. YouTube and other forms of social media has made themselves like a wife beater. A wife beats her like properly, slapping silly the poor lady, even though she doesn't know what she did wrong. Keeps on cooking her dinner right, yet this gangster keeps on tripping her up a storm. That's YouTube. That means slap her trip her until she falls and breaks her teeth. That's YouTube. They have taken their wife, because that's what we are to YouTube. We are a most once upon a time beloved wife of a man that turns abusive. This random foolish company needs us. Content creators are absolutely necessary for the thriving of platforms like YouTube, and yet they are treating content creators like they ain't jack, like there's more where they came from. They're treating us like these aged women whose husbands no longer find them attractive, and so they're replacing them with 20-year-old. They thoroughly believe that the Generation Z conglomerate has no morals nor scruples enough for them to realize for themselves that they're being used as the next generation to basically usher in a great deal of immorality. They think Gen Z kids can't think for themselves. They think Gen Alpha kids will in the future not be able to think for themselves. They think if we can get them early and train them to be like child soldiers, we're going to be good. We're going to change the narrative through the youth. And so they're taking older content creators or content creators that have been on their platforms for much longer and have got serious voices of reason. They think they can just slap us out the way because they think the youth is going to stay rebellious forever. Have you ever met a child soldier from one of these countries in Africa that actually have child soldiers, like in Uganda during the days of Idi Amin? A lot of the child soldiers that grew up lived to regret what in the world under heaven it is that were the massacres that they committed when they were still children. They today have got scars that they cannot heal. They've got a violent amount of PTSD because ultimately morality caught up. The invisible qualities of God, a conscience caught up. They thought back to what they did in their youth and they mourn daily. As husbands today, married to women, they cannot focus on their families because they still get nightmares of how much murder they committed when they were just children. So even child soldiers can be untrained from darkness. Look at how many Nazis have repented ever since what happened in Germany back in the day. To this day, they cannot deal with how many Jews they massacred. People recover from darkness. That's what I'm trying to get at. So whether or not the youth is gotten too early is irrelevant. They grow up and they get nightmares of what they did when they were kids, and then they do differently. So you who trained them wickedness, do you not imagine your future is bleak? When then they realize that you made them monsters. Do you not see that? How can you have no foresight or human race that keeps on repeating the same mistakes over and over and over and over again? You know, I do not know any kid that grows up and does not have some kind of a transformation of personality later on. As a child, I don't know how many times one of my cousins who was older than me used to warn me to stop dating this one particular guy because he belonged to a really bad crew of friends. And I just thought my cousin was so archaic, so boring, so numb-minded. So frankly, like, how about we just throw you away, girl? Whatever. You're like worn out like a garment, like proper. Move on. I love my boyfriend. Same boyfriend. When he was 30 years old, passed away from a car accident, having lived a reckless, wretched life. At his memorial service, all they could show were photos of him partying at Upper Storm. He had lost a lot of weight, was very emaciated, just irresponsible party life, still living at Upper Storm in that state, having not made anything valuable of himself. At that stage, I was 26 years old, and I had a very thriving career in corporate. I was so responsible. I was girthy. I was full of life. I had pink in my cheeks. Yet the guy that I dated when I was 17 years old, when he was just 21, I imagined nothing in this world could ever make me think of him as a worthless man. And I eventually came to agree only when he died, because he had made nothing of himself. So I found out my cousin was right. Lo and behold, the same guy was a prolific, he became a Satanist, because of how much he destroyed his life. He ended up putting a whole bunch of witchcraft on me. You are always going to be mine. I got nightmares about him all the way up until he died, and still to this day, I keep on getting nightmares about his witchcraft, despite him now being late. So I grew up and I realized my cousin was right. I don't know what makes YouTube think that Gen Z, that the youth today, that they are influencing to think that all they can do is do makeup tutorials on TikTok, and tomorrow have no conscience at all about the, what is this life, debauched lives that they're living. Twerking it up a storm like no man's business, wearing absolutely nothing on social media, flirting with boys, partying it up a storm and doing nothing but. Do you not think that one day they're going to bring down that content because it does nothing at all for their matured state? Do you not imagine the day is going to arrive when they regret disrespecting their parents? Heck, I regret a lot of the wicked mistakes I made as a youth. Like, it's just a trend throughout history. Kids are just, you can't talk to them until eventually they talk to themselves because they grow up. So to think that you can get to the world through the youth, you are naive. To think you can make an entire planet immoral because the youth are currently just not thinking straight. The youth has never thought straight until further notice. Literally, it's just a trend of history. So I do not know why YouTube thinks, or social media platforms think, that they can tarnish the world with an irresponsible Generation Z worth of children that don't see that the world is being destroyed by the decisions they're making. You cannot give so much power to a people that eventually changed their minds. Heck, your brain is not even fully developed until you're 25. And yet, social media platform bosses don't even realize that they are facing mob justice in the future, and the very near one at that. The psychological abuse that we are endured through from deplatforming ought to be enough to cause people to basically render what YouTube and everybody else is doing a medical emergency on the earth, because it's giving the world a mental illness. When you live in fear perpetually, if you are an abuse victim, you would know how it goes. Your abuser, you're always scared in their presence. You are jumpy, you are edgy, you are frankly unable to be yourself in their presence. You cannot have any real joy. When you hear their footsteps, you immediately go sad. They create a mental illness in their patients and in their victims, and the only way out for their victims is for their victims to basically get out from their presence. They're narcissistic and they will perpetually be abusive. Your only cure against an abuser is to extract yourself from that abuser's environment. So YouTube is an abuser now. They are creating a mental illness in us. The psychological damage is real. Like the amount of trepidation that you have before you upload content when you have already been given a strike, or you would know if at all you've gotten this. The amount of trepidation you have if you've been given a strike, if at all you are like at 2 strikes, you will literally sit down and not do anything for 3 months until that period is over, which is what I did in one of my channels. I upload my content. I used to upload my content on 2 channels. One of them had about 600 subscribers, the other one 400, or both of which were made to get stuck at that subscriber number because I was shadow banned. And I was uploading irrespective of my shadow ban state on both channels. And the second channel, despite uploading the exact same content on it, got a second strike. After the first strike, I told myself at least I've got leg room for one more strike. I got a second strike on that channel. As a result, I have not uploaded a single thing on that channel ever since, and I'm waiting for the 90-day period to pass. So I've been uploading on my main channel, which has currently now got a first strike, but it had a strike initially that excelled the 90-day period, and then now I was taken back to strike 1. So basically, if I had gotten a second strike on my second channel, I would have likely started a brand spanking new channel so I can continue to upload content, but left those 2 channels to sit around for an entire 3 months before I go back and upload on it again so I can start from strike 1 again. It is a psychological nervousness that you are perpetually walking in, just a constant fear, a constant consternation, a constant trepidation to upload content. And again, when they also just to let you guys know the myriads of strategies I have employed concerning the striking issue, I then went on right ahead and grabbed one of my older channels that I had abandoned, and I started uploading on there, using it as a test channel because I could afford to lose it given that it only had about 40 subscribers. I told myself I can afford to lose it, so I'm going to upload my content, leave it in there for 24 to 48 hours to see if I get a strike, in which case I will then go into the video, edit it, and try and re-upload it to see if I still get a strike. I did that for, I guess, as long as it took for me to get a strike on my main channel that did not first appear. I'm still explaining this battered wife situation that I am in right now with YouTube because I feel like a battered wife. Like, you look at me now, if you were to grab a microscope or a magnifying glass, you would totally see a blue eye from YouTube, proper, like I've been punched, okay? Like a lot. I was explaining to you guys my other channel, the small little one that I have since gained 20 subscribers because I upload on it a lot and I upload on it first, even though I would much rather have people listen to me on my main channel because, like I said, it's my main. It's the one that I have had for years, and I frankly have got too much content that is even privatized on there for me to lose it. I can't afford to lose it because I'm using it as a cloud, for crying out loud, to save some of my older videos, lest I should one day want to, pull up one of the memories of me being in my early years of doing YouTube. So I can't afford to lose that channel. So in order to protect it, I then started uploading on, like I said, an empty channel that means nothing to me at all, that if it were to disappear altogether, I wouldn't care. And I've used it to basically gauge if at all it is safe for me to upload content on my other channels. Lo and behold, I did exactly that, and still I got a strike on my main channel and my smaller channel that is more main than that other useless one, while they ignored the useless one. So it turns out that they target you when you get bigger numbers. Big for me is like 600, for freaking crying out loud, and yet I am still that much of a threat to these hilarious buffoons. Except they're not funny because they're actually truly heartbreaking. That channel that I have that is useless has not even a single warning or a strike in it, and yet I have ever since trying to use it as a buffer to blow, as a buffer to the blows on my other channels. I've gotten a second strike on my other channel that I have just allowed to sit around for 3 whole months, getting nothing in it, that I might not have my channel brought down altogether. And I have also ever since then gotten yet another first strike on my main channel whose content I can't afford to lose, despite them never ever striking that other channel. So I realized it doesn't even make sense if you have a contingency plan. It does nothing. They just target you for no reason at all, and once they have put their little stamp on your forehead, understand that they're gonna find any reason at all to finally deplatform you. So you just like walk around with this target on your back. It is no wonder that people end up speaking in freaking code talk when they are supposed to use the full grammar that they were taught by their English teachers in school, for crying out loud. Stop with all of this like weird little texting language perpetually. Some of us actually like proper English. That's what's going on. That is what under heaven is going on. That is the psychological condition of a person that's constantly being given strikes. And I have not only noticed it in myself, how it is that I now have got all this trepidation every time I upload content. I realize that they don't even care to be impartial. They just they just willy-nilly dump their stools on whichever channel they feel today has deserved the target on their back. And there is nothing you can do to protect yourself. Sometimes they but they bring down indeed unto the end of deplatforming you ultimately. Sometimes they even bring down a video that, goodness, you forgot about it. You basically use it as a pillow at night to sleep on, the way that it's just there to rest in your channel. And then they will bring that video down based on a future change of community guidelines. And when they bring it down, they don't even give you the amnesty or the grace, since you at the time were adhering to their rules as at the time of upload. They won't even give you the grace of at least just bringing it down, letting you know, but without giving you a strike. They will bring it down and give you a strike. Literally, they will go and grab an old video and they will strike you based on it. That's what in the world of heaven is going on here. So, I mean, can you really continue to deal with Ike Turner for YouTube? Can you? Such men must be left, Mus. Such irresponsible husbands just need to be walked out on. Proper filed divorce papers is that basic. You gotta leave. Like, people, you have to boycott these social media platforms, because this the psychological damage that is done to a person that keeps on getting targeted for no reason at all is real, and it is alive. I have seen it with a brother of mine on Good Treasure Christ, the one who got demonetized after they first started him out with age restriction. He first rocked up and was like, oh, what's YouTube doing? Then went on right ahead to start asking money from people, when before that never used to be a thing. I complained about that earlier. And then, despite the demonetization, he started to fear that he might just lose his channel altogether, so he started a new channel just like me. You know, when he walked in these steps, I was like, oh my goodness, dear brother, you have no idea what's coming. Because even that channel, that second one, they are going to target it, because now they've got a target on your back. The moment they recognize your voice, the moment they see your face, they're going to say it's that guy. He not only started a new channel, or rather started to upload on an old channel that he had abandoned, but he also, over and above it, made it clear that he's going to upload some of his longer form content there, and only upload shorter form content on his new channel, because he wants to basically appeal demonetization, and so therefore put his longer form content. I imagine that this is what he's trying to do. I read into what he said, even though he didn't say it in so many words. He wants to bring back monetization by doing nothing but shorts or short form content that's kind of light-hearted on the main channel with many subscribers, while doing some of his meatier content on the new channel, so that when that one gets demonetized, it's not going to be such a big fat financial pinch on him. That's what they're doing to Christians. I told you that the Lord gave me a dream of Christians being like participants in the Squid Game. They are trying to impoverish us so that they can make us play some evil game. It's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Because people are so spoiled by comfort from other human beings, they stick around in a channel that needs to be walked away from, or in a platform that needs to be walked away from. YouTube has got gazillions of people coming in and out of there every single day. They are your best shot at getting seen at all if you want to be seen. But my oh my, how having that status has made them an abusive husband. It's not worth it. It's not worth the psychological damage. It is not worth the emotional abuse. It is not worth the verbal abuse. It is not worth the accusations, the tarnishing of your character, the reviling. It is not worth the defamation of character. It is absolutely not worth it for you to fear the loss of your house because your channel that has got 500,000 subscribers is sitting on a second strike and potentially even demonetization. It is not worth it for you to have to bring your plans to a blistering halt because YouTube became abusive overnight. Sometimes you gotta learn to walk away and acquaint yourself with a humble life in the run up to building a prosperous one that is free of affliction. YouTube must just be walked away from. There must be a mass exodus. Other places that do not smother people like this need to be given a chance, that they might grow so big that they no longer have to throttle internet speeds or upload speeds the way that Rumble currently throttles upload speeds. People need to move over to, like I said, these other platforms that they know that they can build into their softwares the ability to upload multiple videos at one time. When you move over, you finance another organization to do a big thing. You enable it to grow. YouTube must be like a balloon, like an investment balloon. At some point it gotta burst, because it is literally investing in all the wrong things. It has turned its face away from its main customer base, and if we don't leave it, literally intentionally making a decision to never watch videos on YouTube, rather opt to watch videos that keep on buffering because they are struggling to cater to the increase in demand. But the fact that there is even increase in demand is a good thing. Rumble to keep you watching your video without it buffering. But the day's gonna arrive, if you keep on supporting them, that they won't buffer anymore because they will improve their systems. It's that basic. We have to mass migrate. We have to leave. Otherwise they will not stop abusing us. And it would be really great if power would be taken away from the United States of America at this point. Because it turns out that the moment power gets concentrated in one place, it absolutely corrupts. We cannot, as a global citizenship, have all of our platforms of communication go through one country. It was inevitable that the US would be targeted by the global elites for discombobulation, frankly. Because they are our mouthpiece. And they are thwarting voices even in other nations. In Africa, for instance, Africans, I don't know why you insist on giving all of your juice, your might, your power, and your bang to the West. I don't get it. So many people are fascinated by Africans, to a point where we are running up like tabs into the millions on social media by just simply showing our African tradition and heritage. And yet here it is that YouTube is silencing the living daylights out of us. We also remain the one continent that has literally resisted and rejected like it's just bad breath in the morning coming from somebody. The woke agenda. There is no single, I almost said, yeah, it is continent. It is a continent. There is no one continent on the earth more resistant of the West ideology unto wokeness than Africa. And yet we are giving all of our voices to them, and they are therefore silencing us for merely speaking our minds about how we feel about how crazy immoral they have all become. So why under heaven, when you have got all the infrastructure you need and all the money you need in order to build your own social media, literally for Africa, you can call it Africa Tube, for crying out loud, why in the world do you not trust that the world will come to see what you're doing, since they are flooding to you on TikTok, they are flooding to you on YouTube, they are flooding to you on Facebook? What then when you get a non-censored African platform where if you're in Europe you can come and watch, but you don't get to come and tell us your woke ideology? We don't care. If you're in America, come and watch. If anything, you can even start your own channel in Africa Tube. But you don't get to dilly-dally, dance around and force us to embrace your colorful agenda when we're not ready. We have not yet arrived at that place. We have not arrived at an environment where we are happy to pretend that there is no such a thing as male and female, literally only. Where when you are signing up on a social media platform, you only have male and female for gender options and nothing else. We get to create a social media platform in Africa like that. And since people are so obsessed with our culture and our heritage, on TikTok, a Chinese platform, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, American platforms, I just feel as if if you want to keep on seeing what beautiful thing we're doing, come to Africa Tube. Why are Africans not innovating their own platform? And another thing about Africa Shem, I don't know why you have not noticed that this American platform that is YouTube and even Facebook, these American platforms, they deliberately, what do you call this thing? They deliberately traffic global eyes. They funnel them, almost like money laundering, to American platforms more than any other nation's content. For good reason, they're being patriotic. I get it. However, we also then can also do the same thing, where we give more clout and more oomph and weight to African content creators on our African platform. Is that basic? Because that's what America is doing. It's obvious. That's why some of the grand majority of really massive channels are American. That is why, if at all you're watching something about what's going on in the world, it's usually an American voiceover. It's an American person, an American content creator. It's not that they are the only ones with the innovation or the bright, sparky ideas or even the follower what is this followability, if that's even a thing. They're not the only ones. We know that today, that there's some pretty excellent content coming from other places in the world. However, Americans hold the grand market share on YouTube in terms of their voices. This is a deliberate thing by the American agencies of intelligence. They want to keep their country strong. They get to do that. It's their platform. Proper. They don't have to be fair. They frankly get to be all American about it with their American dream. But given that they have got that bias against everybody else, and we cannot become as big as we want to get on social media because we are from Africa or from wherever else, we should then create our own continental tube, should we not? Where we are pushing African voices more than any other voice. And since, like I said, we are so influential, why not trust that people will migrate over? I frankly have been trying to reach Africans for Christ because the issue with witchcraft is most prolific here in Africa, where your next door neighbor is your worst enemy because their nightmarish existence has infiltrated your house, Gadikar. Yet Africa is rarely hearing me. The cry for Africa against witchcraft is rarely being heard because YouTube refuses to let Nigerians listen to me, the Congolese, the Cameroonians, Angolans, Egyptians. YouTube refuses to let South Africans, Tswanas, Lesothos. They refuse to allow the Swazis and the Zimbabweans to flood to my channel because they are not proliferating me. Instead, they are sending Zimbabweans and the Congolese, they are sending South Africans to American content. There's nothing wrong with American content. I don't have issues with Americans. But frankly, I would much rather hear the hard cry of Africans because I'm an African. Yet I am struggling to find African content creators that are Christian online, as if though we don't have enough Christians to run with on our own. We do. But I'm struggling to find them because the algorithms are just not pushing them. So we might as well create our own tube. Might as well. You will get a really excellent Christian content creator in Africa, in South Africa. Just scraping 80,000 subscribers after being online for 5 years. What kind of rubbish is that? We need to create something else. There needs to be an international boycott of social media. And American content creators, while your YouTube might benefit you more than everybody else in the world, bottom line is they're also coming up against you if they don't like what you have to say. So whether or not I'm all upset because Africa is not being properly represented is also irrelevant. Bottom line is your American platform, that is YouTube, that is being used by the whole planet, is trying to condition us to change our personalities as a global citizenship to suit a narrative that is frankly destructive for the human race, period. A narrative that disregards the genders, that indoctrinates our children into a violent moral turpitude, that is shoving down our throats medical interventions that we did not sign up for, that is trying to tell us what to eat, what to put on our plates, and what to extract from our houses, that is trying to basically rob us of resources that they got us used to, and then tell us, what are you willing to do in order to get them back? They act as if they were not innovative and intelligent enough to basically, innovate our way out of need for them. If they feel as if though they've gotten too big to be mowed over, they just need to go and read the Bible in the book of Genesis and find out what happened with the Tower of Babel. The Lord confounded their speech. So how about we confound the speech of Instagram, the speech of YouTube, the speech of Facebook, the speech of any other American social media platform that thinks it's got veto power over the world's voice? This is something that Americans also need to stand with me on, because in and of themselves they're facing loss of homes because YouTube decided over something they can't even understand to deplatform them. People are being given mental illness because of money that they get used to earning, and then all of a sudden it being taken away from you. Like getting fired from your job without even a 30 days notice. Usually in corporate, in South Africa in particular, when you get fired, you get a severance package. YouTube does not even have the decency to give you a severance package. They might even give you understanding in advance if they're going to retrench you, that in 6 weeks you're not going to have a job, so you might want to start looking for a new job. No, YouTube severance of people is sudden. It's overnight. Next month there is no check coming in. Who in the world sits around in a company like that? It's untrustworthy. There is no freaking job security. You just can't stay there. We have to leave. They keep on patronizing us, trying to make us feel like we're dumb, we're stupid, like we're not worthy of being heard by shadow banning the living daylights out of us. They're causing suicides across the world. They're causing fathers to be unable to take care of their families. They gotta be left. They're acting like a corporate that does not need clients. What kind of a company is that? They have to be left. Boycotting is the only way, guys. Don't you see? Don't you see? Anyway, whatever. I have spoken my mind. I'm done now. This is my final little part. When I started speaking here, I spoke about how it is that, you know, what YouTube is like eye circles under your eyes. Eye bags. Bags and circles. All that is needed is an intervention of vitamin C, a little bit of retinol, maybe some turmeric mask. And within 2 weeks, you're going to find that your dark circles are going to fade. They think they are an irreversible condition, when rather they're just a stupid little disease. YouTube is like appendicitis, guys. It's like appendicitis. Like, the appendix is this organ in the human body that frankly is functionless. It just literally, nobody knows what in the world it does. And when a person doesn't have it, frankly, they're cool. However, when you've got appendicitis, it is so painful. It can cause so many complications in your body, even though it's essentially a non-essential. It's just like an ornamental in the body. YouTube are like the appendix. They think that they cannot be survived without, yet they are not that essential. We can just innovate our way out of need for them. Not just YouTube. I'm speaking here about all social media platforms. They just need to be walked away from. The mainstream ones, they need to be walked away from. An appendix, if you take it out, literally, you won't even feel that there was something missing in your body other than the scar that was there because of the surgery that you had to have. But should it malfunction, this thing that is as ornamental in your body as it is, should it malfunction, should you get it infected, it can cause you so much pain. So much pain. This non-entity, this ornament that can be done without, when it malfunctions, can be fatal, and it can cause you a severity of pain. So why not just slice it out of the body? Frankly, be proactive. It's like tonsils as well. Tonsils, you can do without them. When they get taken out, frankly, you will still continue to speak. You might even be the best singer in your class because of having taken them out. You will never ever have tonsillitis ever again in your life. Non-essentials. Just this ornament in your body. But it malfunctions. The pain. Who among you has had tonsillitis? You would know. The pain. The pain caused by something as ornamental as that. Just take it out of your body. You won't miss it. Let these randoms be extracted surgically out of your viewing pleasure. Entirely, like taking out tonsils out of your throat and your appendix from out of your belly. Just surgically remove them and watch yourself have a much better life with little threat to your financial security. Anyway, that's all I can say at this point. I'm fed up. Ek is gatvol hoor my. Mara, unless people actually heed me, there's nothing at all that is ever going to be cured. We are all just going to keep getting sick from an abusive husband that once upon a time used to dote over us. I'm out.